Caitlin Clark's return is the only real solution to the Fever's struggles.
The WNBA is struggling to maintain their ratings without Caitlin Clark.
This is the Clark effect that got these ratings here.
The WNBA seems to be struggling to maintain interest.
Look, it goes beyond even women's sports. I don't know if I've ever seen something like this, the impact and the discourse and the popularity and everything that comes along with Caitlin Clark.
The WNBA is collapsing without Caitlin Clark. Ratings are down, fans are leaving, and the league is desperate. If you're 100% behind Caitlin, drop a 100% in the comments right now.
PR predictions, but I have one for Taylor Swift. She is going on the podcast of her professional athlete boyfriend. She typically brings friends or collaborators to his football game. Who did she bring last season that is also a showgirl? Caitlin Clark. I think Taylor Swift is going to be at the Indiana Fever game on August 22nd. And this might be a hot take, but that would be perfectly in line with when Caitlin Clark is coming back from injury.
Without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA is sinking fast. Games without her barely scratch 700,000 viewers, while her matchups soar past 1 to 2 million fans on TV.
TV ratings were the lowest for the women's basketball since 2008, according to NBC. That's all in the book. It was a disaster. They never got the attention they deserved.
Even a recent primetime game on CBS without Caitlin was called a success at 1.3 million viewers. But that was the lowest rating for that matchup since Caitlin entered the league.
The Indiana Felines and the Chicago Bravado played on CBS. When you don't have the storyline of Caitlin Clark, this is just another painfully boring pretend basketball game. While 1.3 million is great, it is the least watched.
This proves the obvious. Caitlin isn't just another rookie. She is the ratings.
This Caitlin Clark injury, it was the final ingredient for the perfect storm. This injury gave the WNBA the data they need to prove that pretend basketball is 100% reliant on one player.
The moment she stepped out with her injury, interest in the league nosedived.
She's got to come back, and she's going to have to win. She's got to win even with Stephanie White as her coach. Good Lord, she will be the GOAT.
Other teams, even so-called big stars, can't draw the same energy. And here's the scary part. History shows what happens when leagues ignore reality. The NHL collapsed after its 2004 lockout and never fully recovered. The WNBA is on the same path if they don't realize Caitlin Clark is the one keeping them alive.
20 years ago, the NHL went on strike, canceling the regular season in 2004 going into 2005. The 2004 NHL season was canceled. And here we are 20 years later, and you can make the case that the NHL never fully recovered.
Right now, the Indiana Fever are hanging on by a thread.
We are number 7 in the playoff seedings. By the way, there's only eight seedings. There's only 8 places. We're second to last. Good teams, you know what they don't do? They don't go 10-8 at home.
They've slipped under .500, sitting near the bottom of the playoff picture. Without their leader, the offense looks flat, the defense shaky, and fans are watching a team that's lost its identity. Everyone knows the truth. The Fever can only go as far as Caitlin Clark takes them. Even her teammate Sophie Cunningham admitted it. After another tough loss, she said the team still believes in itself, but they've been hit with injuries, tough lineups, and doubts from the rest of the league. Her rallying cry was clear. We just need to find our confidence again, because when we're clicking, not a lot of teams can beat us. Then she called Caitlin what everyone already knows, the biggest dog on the bench. But here's the good news. Caitlin's return isn't just a dream anymore. It's a rumor growing stronger every single day.
Caitlin Clark's return is the only real solution to the Fever's struggles. Yes.
We might not see Caitlin Clark on a basketball court until May of 2027. If the 2026 WNBA season is canceled and Caitlin Clark does not join Unrivaled, she will not be on the court for 2 years. He asked me, if that were to happen, will Caitlin Clark have the same drawing power?
Multiple dates are floating around. August 22nd, 24th, or 26th could mark her comeback.
So the rumors of Caitlin Clark's return are not stopping. They are not stopping at all. Where the rumor is she's going to be back in practice.
That means she could be back against the Lynx or the Storm, games that could decide the Fever's playoff hopes. And there's another twist. Rumors are flying that Taylor Swift herself might show up at one of those games. Think about what that means. The most powerful pop star in the world sitting courtside to watch Caitlin Clark return. The Swifties and the Clark fans joining forces would break the internet and completely flip the spotlight back on the WNBA.
Taylor Swift will be attending Gamebridge either for the Fever's game against the Lynx or the Storm. While ticket price haven't changed, I personally think this is accurate as well. Predict the Lynx and a second row tickets for it. If she does show up, there's almost no way she can sit front row, surely. I'd even put security around her in the floor seats.
This isn't just about a player returning from injury. This is about the moment the entire league is waiting for. The fans, the media, even celebrities are holding their breath for Caitlin's comeback. And the truth is simple. The WNBA needs her back.
A Brazilian journalist, Robin, came up to me early on in the Olympics in Paris. Where's Caitlin Clark? I would have covered every game, this woman said. She never came to cover the games. British journalist, tell me about Caitlin Clark. Why isn't she here? He never covered any U.S. women's basketball games. That's what I was talking about. I feel vindicated. I wish I was wrong, and I wish the team got the attention it deserved.
When you strip everything else away, the truth couldn't be clearer. Caitlin Clark is the reason the WNBA is even relevant right now. Without her, the league feels invisible. Even as the season drags on, mainstream sports outlets barely cover it. And once the NFL preseason kicked off, the WNBA practically vanished from headlines. And that's no coincidence. Other players, no matter how talented, simply don't draw the same interest. Analysts have pointed out that Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart, and even Angel Reese became more famous only after Caitlin Clark arrived.
Asia Wilson is so much more famous now than she was before Caitlin Clark arrived in the WNBA. And that goes for basically every WNBA player that people can now rattle off that they couldn't before.
She raised the entire league's profile by bringing millions of new fans into the conversation. Whether you love her or hate her, you're watching because of her.
Some of these females are delusional. They're acting like the influx in ratings and everything came because of them and their style of play, when it's clear as day that this is the Clark effect for the most part, bro.
But instead of celebrating her, too many in the league have tried to tear her down. Cheryl Reeve and USA Basketball left Caitlin off the Olympic roster. Not because she wasn't good enough, but because they feared the backlash from her massive fan base if she didn't play enough minutes. Think about that. They weren't scared of other countries. They were scared of Caitlin's supporters. That shows the kind of cultural power she wields.
I was able to break the news from a source that Caitlin Clark was not being put on the Olympic team. And there had already been some buzz and some noise and cacophony of sounds on this topic even before. And that was Cheryl Reeve saying at the Olympic Media Summit that she had not been in the trenches with Caitlin Clark. Okay. Right around the time that the decision was being made about the Olympics and whether Caitlin Clark would be on the team. I did not know she was not going to be on the team at this moment. At
the same time, WNBA players rejected a new deal that would have paid them up to 4 times more
Rookie contracts could be $300,000 now
than they make now. And why do they even have leverage to demand that? Because Caitlin Clark has single-handedly spiked ratings, ticket sales, and merchandise numbers.
WNBA players kind of have a point. With ratings and attendance being up, it makes sense that salaries should increase too. But should they increase to an average of $1 million? Can the WNBA afford $1 million salaries? And the real question is, can the WNBA maintain this momentum long term?
Yet these same players throw shade at her. elbow her on the court, and act jealous of the attention she gets. It's backwards. They're biting the hand that feeds the league. Even fans are frustrated. The style of play without Caitlin is slow, low-scoring, and at times flat-out unwatchable. Entire quarters where teams score under 10 points. Compare that to Caitlin's game, where defenses have to pick her up at half-court because of her logo-range shooting. She changes the geometry of the court.
The WNBA is struggling to maintain their ratings without Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark's return is the only real solution to the Fever's struggles.
The WNBA seems to be struggling to maintain interest.
She opens up opportunities for her teammates. Even as a rookie, she's an offensive engine the WNBA has never seen before. And here's the ultimate reality. If Caitlin Clark ever walked away from the WNBA, the league would collapse overnight. Commentators have even said she has enough star power to launch her own league, and fans, sponsors, and media would follow her in an instant. That's how much weight she carries. The WNBA doesn't just need Caitlin Clark. She is the WNBA. She's the one player who can fill arenas, draw millions on TV, and bring global stars like Taylor Swift courtside. Without her, the league struggles. With her, it thrives. That's why this isn't just another rookie story. This is about the survival of an entire league, and Caitlin Clark is the only hope holding it together.
New PR predictions, but I have one for Taylor Swift. She is going on the podcast of her professional athlete boyfriend, and she typically brings friends or collaborators to his football game. Who did she bring last season that is also a showgirl? Caitlin Clark. I think Taylor Swift is going to be at the Indiana Fever game on August 22nd. And this might be a hot take, but that would be perfectly in line with when Caitlin Clark is coming back from injury.
The truth is undeniable. The WNBA is collapsing without Caitlin Clark. Ratings are crashing, fans are restless, and the league has no direction without its biggest star. But the moment she returns, everything changes.
This is the Clark effect that got these ratings here.
Look, it goes beyond even women's sports. I don't know if I've ever seen something like this. The impact and the discourse and the popularity and everything that comes along with Caitlin Clark.
She's not just a rookie. She's the heartbeat, the spotlight, and the only hope for the WNBA's future. So I'll leave you with this. If you believe Caitlin Clark is carrying the league on her shoulders, drop a "Caitlin is the hope" in the comments right now. Because the world can see it. Without her, the WNBA fades. With her, it shines brighter than ever.